Hi, I'm Bailey Bennett Andrade, DEI Media Marketer. The following presentation has Dr. Stacy Stanley and Dr. Trudy Arriaga as they share their research around cultural proficiency through the lens of gender equity and also leading while female.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stacy Stanley, and I am a senior training consultant with the Center for Culturally Proficient Educational Practices. I also serve as an associate superintendent in a K-12 district in the Midwest. And with me today is my colleague, Trudy Arriaga.
Hi, everyone. I'm Trudy Arriaga, and I am the Associate Dean of Equity and Outreach at Cal Lutheran University in Southern California. I'm also a former school district superintendent and a very proud co-author of Leading While Female with my colleagues, Stacy Stanley and Dolores Lindsay. Our research drew upon intersectionality, feminism, educational leadership, and cultural proficiency. We worked through barriers and support factors, looking at the inevitable data of women in leadership. And as we looked at that data, we looked at cultural proficiency.
We used the four tools of cultural proficiency to really guide our work as we wrote the text. First of all, we really focused on those guiding principles, which are the foundational beliefs and systems that we bring into any work that we do. Foundationally believing that women can and will succeed in executive leadership roles. Next, we focused on the barriers. And as Trudy said, sexism is the greatest barrier that prevents women from moving into executive leadership roles. Next, we use the five essential elements that really help us to understand what's happening in the organization. First, assessing cultural knowledge, really understanding what that experience is like for a female in an organization as they're working their way toward executive leadership. Looking at ways that we can demonstrate that we are valuing diversity, the diversity that women bring to an organization and how that benefits that organization. Of course, anytime you're seeking to diversify an organization, there is going to be conflict. And the essential element of managing the dynamics of difference really helps to prepare that organization for what it is like when they start to bring women into those executive leadership roles. What does that look like when we are adapting to diversity? How can we make certain that we are not putting any barriers up for women, barriers related to their work schedule, barriers related to their travel that are preventing them from moving into executive roles? And finally, most importantly, institutionalizing cultural knowledge. After we go in and we do an assessment and we garner all of this information, what are we doing to make certain that this information becomes part of our everyday way of being? The other tool that we have is the continuum of cultural proficiency. We focused on the pitfalls. What is happening that is preventing women from moving into roles that prepare them to move into executive leadership? Those pipelines. How are we making certain that we are promoting women into positions that are preparing them to become superintendents? And then finally, those pathways, making certain that women have the sponsors that they need, the mentors that they need in order to make certain that they move into the role of superintendency.
We are often asked our why. Why did we write this book? And we have individual whys, but we also found some collective whys. And one of our whys came from the quote from Toni Morrison. And the quote was, if there's a book that you've always wanted to read, but it hasn't been written, then you must be the one to write it. And we took that very seriously. Another collective why was the compelling data of the really dismal results of women in executive leadership, of women of color in executive leadership positions, of women representing the LGBTQ plus community in executive leadership positions in education. Our final collective why is that we are all grandmothers and we are grandmothers of granddaughters. And so we want to make sure that our granddaughters are able to take the baton and run like champions.
And finally, what we would say is we encourage you to really know and understand your worth. And then carpe diem, seize the day, move into the leadership role that you desire and that you are well prepared for.